Chapter 4. The Ayatollah Khomeini, a new leader for Iran. I had problems with the socio-political system in Iran like many other students. Why should a student struggle with poverty and be forced to sleep on the street in a rich, oil-based country and be threatened with the termination of his studies when he's working tirelessly for his future? These conditions made me angry towards the Shah. The country was rich, but only for rich people who had built stronger relationships with high-ranking government officers. Middle-class citizens, villagers, and students suffered. It wasn't hard to find motives to join the students' revolutionary movement against the Iranian government. Gradually, I became zealous in my opposition of the Shah's regime, but I still did not have a clear ideological path in Islam. My belief in the existence of a divine creator did not mean that I really understood all aspects of Islam's philosophy. I had joined the Islamic group only because they believed the world was created by God and also were questioning the economic injustices in Iran. We did not have the resources to study other religions and did not have time to indulge in a deeper study of Islam and its political, economic, social, and ethical principles to decide if Islam would give us a better future. We did not understand how our society would change under the rule of Islam. We were told that Islam was a solution for everything, and if we expected to be the best nation in the world, we must follow the mullahs and commit ourselves to the Ayatollah Khomeini, who was sent into exile in 1963 by the Shah and living in Iraq. The mullahs also told us that discussion about the future was not a priority since the Shah, the cause of all injustice, was in power. The first and most urgent step for overcoming injustice was to get rid of the Shah. The mullahs were able to progressively establish a strong connection between us and the Ayatollah Khomeini and prepare us to follow his instructions diligently. Saddam Hussein, the president of Iraq, eventually forced the Ayatollah Khomeini to leave Iraq. In October 1978, he made his way to France. While in France, he continued to organize his return to Iran from the new foreign headquarters. The Ayatollah was a convincing speaker and seemingly a stronger leader than the Shah. His opposition to the Shah was favored by some contemporary Western leaders who wanted Islamic theocracy as a shield against the influence of Russian communism. The Ayatollah wisely tailored his message to be less religious and more economic and socio-political in order to encourage resistance to the Shah's regime. He wanted support from non-religious and nominal Muslims as well. But under the surface, the Ayatollah's opposition was neither political nor social nor economic. It was in reality a result of the Shah's acceptance of Israel as a Jewish country, which violated Islamic obligations. Jews, according to Islam, did not deserve to have anything or any land. The Shah was an apostate in the eyes of the Ayatollah and had to be removed from leadership and killed. Despite Islam's intolerance of atheism, the Ayatollah Khomeini even invited atheists to join the revolutionary movement. He never spoke publicly against any non-Muslim groups that were against the Shah before the revolution. His overriding goal was to gain power among the public in order to overthrow the kingdom of the Shah, and for this reason, he needed the unity of all groups, if only temporarily. Despite Khomeini's hypocrisy to various opposition groups, his tactics worked among the masses. They were frustrated at the repressive economic and political system in place, and unable to discern Khomeini's true underlying motives. He was able to persuade revolutionaries that his intention was to rescue Iran from economic hardship and dictatorship set up by the ruling government. He made Iranians believe he would establish equal opportunity among all groups in Iran. He continually announced that freedom and democracy were the rights of every Iranian, but the Shah had stolen them. Economic prosperity was certain for Iran because of its oil, but the Shah abused its wealth and left many citizens with little. The Ayatollah based his propaganda on these issues to win Iranian support. We believed his claims because of the hardships Iranians faced under the Shah's rule. Never did we imagine that when he attained power, he would disregard Iranian well-being and sacrifice human rights, all to establish authoritarian Islamic government and terrorism. The mullahs also, who were the close companions to the Ayatollah Khomeini, never spoke against atheism or other religious groups, but against the current injustices in Iran. They encouraged us to be more zealous in fighting the Shah. We thought that they were encouraging us to help demolish injustice and establish justice. We never thought they did not care about justice at all and only wanted to establish Islamic rule that would subject its people to Islamic law, the Sharia. We based our obedience and allegiance blindly on their propaganda that Islam was the most superior religion and could lead the country to democracy. We never studied Islam closely enough to see how genuine the Ayatollah and the other mullahs were in their claims. Like many others, I believe that Islam could address the inconsistencies of our culture, close the gap between the rich and the poor, and lead us to democracy. We did not realize the heart of Islam was incompatible with freedom and democracy. The Ayatollah Khomeini's proclamation of freedom delivered a landslide victory for him and his committed mullahs so that they gained wealth and power, but it blocked the country's path to freedom. By our surrender to the Ayatollah Khomeini, we became our own worst enemies, handing over our country to the mullahs who made our motherland a prison.